Going live in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon to all you bookworms. I am so excited to welcome you all to this chit chat for A Sense of a Bookworm PrePub, Part 5, Volume 12, Part number 3. Oh my goodness, it's always a mouthful, but there you are. There you are. So, in this beautiful day ordained by the god of what is the summer god again? Oh my goodness. Whatever, I greet you. Light and shine. Thank you. I hope that you all are keeping cool on this summer. And if you're in the southern hemisphere, first of all, lucky you, because some of us up here, we are roasting. So welcome everybody wherever you're from, and to those of you who are unable to catch us live and are watching the replay, hope you enjoy it, and hello to you also. And hello gang on Discord, how are you all doing?
Can we talk
I'm doing
now?
great. It's amazing. I'm back. I'm alive.
Hello.
I keep thinking of the light and shaft games.
Oh,
If anyone doesn't, if anyone doesn't recognize that voice that was just speaking, that would be our resident Detland lover, Miss Noemi Demers.
yes, who hasn't been here for a while. Welcome back. Happy to see you guys, and happy to see you've been working really hard lately, so I'm glad that you're finally able to catch a live with us. We have been missing you.
14 days in a row plus an 18-hour shift on top of that.
Those
right
night
after
shifts.
I was dead.
Oh, well, I'm glad that you're here. I don't know if it's because it's Canada Day and you're getting a break, or it was Canada Day and you're getting a break, or if your schedule changed, but I'm still happy to see you here.
It's more like I'm supposed to be currently doing schooling, but I'm not.
Oh, well.
Support your first responders, folks.
We will keep your little secret. All right, so I also want to welcome people and mention the people on the early gang who were the first ones to comment early when I scheduled this live. So the first one is Alvaro M. Valdebenito, says greetings from Norway. I don't know if you're joining us today. I don't think so, since it's Europe gang is probably sleeping right now, but I'm happy to see that you jumped earlier onto the Discord, and we had an extensive conversation about fanfics too. So if you guys have any fanfics that are your favorites, drop them in the chat or in the comments, because Alvaro is looking for his next best read. So yeah, I can't be an authority because I have read just the big ones that everybody has read, but I haven't followed up with many of the newer ones. So I also am looking for great fanfic recommendations. So
speak of the devil, but just joined.
Oh, who joined?
Speaking of
there you are. There you are, Alvaro. Happy to see you.
I just joined.
Hey.
It's almost 1 a.m. here in Norway, but yeah.
Oh my goodness. Did you hear me calling you, summoning you from the ether?
Maybe. Maybe.
It was my spirit connected to your spirit spiritually.
Yeah,
I'm channeling a lot of Jane Eyre right now. Please don't blame me.
oh my god.
All right, so again, welcome. We also want to welcome and say hello to Houston. We have a problem, who is also part of the early gang. It says greetings from Singapore. I will probably maybe awake for the stream, but my favorite part of this part is probably Anastasia's fleeing from Rozemyne's bragging about her future husband. Oh my goodness. Okay, you guys, what do you guys think of Anastasia's now? And just, I don't know, what did you guys think of him in this PrePub? Just interesting. We'll talk about it. Yeah?
Puppy on a leash.
Puppy on a leash. That might be a good description, though. I kind of think that he was trying to exercise some control in the situation. Eglantine was about to go rogue with a talk about winter, and he was like, "Please stop it." So,
yeah, but she was doing that on purpose.
Speaking of, my girl Eglantine is part of the Firmice
Yes, she is. And we can then give her a little bit of credit now just because of that, because she approves and she's in the shipping.
Oh, come on. She gets all the credit.
I hope she doesn't get together with Elvira.
Simp. All right.
And?
And
Because she has so much information she can give to Elvira for her new book.
Yes. Though I don't think Ferdinand will be happy to read that book or to know of its existence. So here's hoping, Elvira, you better do something creative. She came up with Fernestine. I'm sure she'll be able to do something. Unless Lurati beats her to it. Because remember, Lurati is already going to do something. So...
How does Ferdinand not know those books are about him? Seriously.
I'm willing to bet that Ferdinand will, he will have Rozemyne order Eglantine to, prohibit the existence.
I don't know. We'll see. I
think that. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I think that Ferdinand is a romantic. That he just cannot show it. He can never show what he likes. So he kind of loves all the love stories, and based on his vows, that he just loves all those stories, and he has read them all. But he cannot fangirl to anyone.
I don't know, man. I want to say that he is romantic, but that would be a stretch. That would be a stretch. Yeah.
But there is the persona outside and the persona inside, and we never see the inside.
Well, I don't know, man. Jazz.
And whoever said that he would ask Rozemyne to ban the books, Rozemyne would never ban a book. It doesn't matter how bad it was.
It's like, it's not lewd. There's no hand holding, so it passes. I'm sorry, I'm not listening to you. So as long as there's no hand holding, it should be okay.
I don't know.
All right.
I'm willing to believe that she would be. She would be so embarrassed by the existence of this. She's already embarrassed because Elvira is trying to question her about it.
yeah.
All right, so we have two different camps. We'll talk about it later, I guess. Maybe not. But anyway, it's a good point. You can ponder on it or write fan fictions about it. Please write more fan fictions. Again, we also want to say hello to TC, who says afternoon all. Red Tempest says hello, everyone. Can't wait for this chit chat today. And Red Tempest is here. By the way, Reds, thank you so much for all those memes. You outdid yourself with them. Bravo as always.
22 memes.
22 memes, which I shall be sharing.
The
and
local
again,
meme dealer.
Yes, because he knows that the Empress Magpie needs jewels, that is memes, to line her coffers with. So yes, keep them coming. Thank you very much.
By the way, I found someone sharing Red Tempest memes on Reddit, only to find out it was Red Tempest.
Yeah, we go by different names on Reddit. You guys will know me as OK Pineda.
I was gonna say I found you too.
Yes. So yeah, and there's several of us there. We just have different names, and I wish I could change my username, but I can't. And I could probably make another one, but I'm too lazy, and so I'll just leave it like that. So yes, let's see who else is here. Guillaume Paris, also Akihana. Complains, what a late notification, Magpie. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I've been waiting for hours for this early chat. Hey, I did this early this morning, okay? When I was just getting like my little tea thing going, yeah. Please go easy on me. It's been a very, very busy summer for me. So
go eat.
Emil's also you checked in earlier. Happy to see you here. And Tracy Smith also says, I hate to say it about our gremlin. She really is clueless when it comes to love, or should I say romance. She knows how to show love to friends and family. Yes, she does. She just doesn't think it's romantic. Little does she know that.
I was gonna say I don't know. I think it's one of her more endearing factors.
Yeah, but little does she
Yeah.
know that those actions and those words, she's speaking people's love languages, and she just doesn't know it.
Can it really be said as like a love language, like welcoming winter? Isn't it just like saying you had sex, pretty much?
Yeah.
Isn't that what
Like,
winter is?
Euphemism,
doesn't-
yes. Euphemism,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
the
But it's a
euphemism
different.
for
That's
it.
different than a love language. Like love language is like physical touch, acts of service, so on and so forth. There's a book that somebody made me read back in the days, and I forgot about it. But yeah, there's several kinds of love languages. There's like quality time, which I suck at, you guys. If you guys want to know something, that is not
Physical
mine.
affection.
Physical is
emotional
also not
affection.
mine. I don't know what you guys have, but I know what mine is. And I
have
am
emotional.
emotional.
For instance, Ferdinand constantly touching Rozemyne. That's kind of his love language.
Yeah, emotional, like physical.
Yeah.
Physical. Also, I think maybe like acts of service, probably because he's always doing stuff for Rozemyne. Like he is taking on a lot of stuff, not just for Rozemyne, but for say Sylvester. Since he loves his brother, he also did a whole bunch of things for his brother as well, without complaining. So yeah, but definitely physical touch. And I don't know, what do you guys think on the chat? What do you guys think are people's love languages? Yeah,
What you
Jess?
just said, Magpie, about Ferdinand doing things. It was like a big thing that was said in this PrePub that Rozemyne said, "Oh, he gives me whatever I want. He does whatever."
So for me, Ferdinand sees more like his act of loves or acts of services, in my opinion.
No, he does things for Rozemyne that he would never do for anybody else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
acts of service.
Neo Monkey Man?
I think he's mistaking. That's just how Ferdinand gets her to do stuff. Is
Yeah.
giving her stuff she wants. I think she's mistaking that for getting him to do what she wants. No, he's giving stuff so he can make her do what he wants.
Yeah, but she asks for impossible things, and he makes those impossible things happen.
It took a while, but it happened. Yeah. Patrick,
you
did you want to
guys
say?
mean- Yeah. So you guys mean you mean like Ferdinand telling Rozemyne, "Oh yeah, you can teach the scholars your Rozemyne decimal system." That's not him just something
We're
nice.
gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that, you guys. So, oh my goodness, we have gone through like pretty much the big talking points, not all of them, but I think we should go chronologically just to put a semblance of order. It is 4:14. We should probably get started with the conversation if this is not going to drag to more than an hour and something.
Chaosifer reigns.
Let's go.
I shall banish Chaosifer. Let's go. Let's do this. So I put
Banish the chaos gremlin.
I put the summary of this chit chat on the description. So if you guys didn't read it or just want to follow along, it's there for your perusal. So first of all, we have the first chapter. It is Entwickeln, and it is a whole bunch of busy days. They're preparing for remaking Alexandria, the city, parts of the castle, the new library, parts of the commoners district, and a visit from the Zent. So they're scrambling to empty the palace. Meanwhile, Rozemyne is swamped with documents. Not only that, but at the first chance she finds, she clings to the opportunity to read, only for her retainers to thwart her at every turn at Ferdinand's orders. So we have Roderick is going to help her write her vows, and he is going to write the invites to her family. Clarissa is the go-between, carrying info and documents for Ferdinand to Rozemyne and back again. And Rozemyne mentions something quite interesting, says that she's being kept in a very safe place. And also the old Alexandria nobles, when they see Clarissa, they don't dare mess with her, because since Dunkelfugger is from an upper duchy, they don't want to mess with her. On top of the fact that she also knows how to fight. So don't mess with Clarissa. Leonore is also there to help her, remind her that she has to practice the harspiel, and Cornelius is there to help her practice getting used to touching feystones without wincing. So all of them are thwarting her at every turn. Our poor girl just
Oh,
wants to read.
I thought that was
Mhm.
I thought that part was so hilarious because
Yeah.
she's desperately trying to read books and it's like, oh, here's this other activity. Oh, and if you don't want to do that activity, we got this other activity.
Mhm.
Oh, Ferdinand's made sure that you won't have any time to read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seemed like Ferdinand trained her retainers to be personal secretaries
Mhm.
and had everything written down. She's like, nope, that's not on the plan for today, miss.
So here's a question. Oh, okay. So then
So
go
the
Alvaro,
thing-
and then
so-
I'll pose a question
yeah.
to you.
Yeah, the thing is that at some point later, she realized that she has always been kept busy, so she will be safe.
Mhm.
So when she was in Aranfest, she was keeping super busy. So she will not meet the people she should not, and kind of keep in a bubble of a busy schedule. This is the same, just more compressed, and now she's kind of aware of what is going on.
So here's a question for you guys. I read some people in the Reddit and other Discord discussions. They seem to have a little bit of a pause, or as to saying like, it's Ferdinand overstepping in ordering around her retainers. Should she learn to put her foot down, or was he in the right in ordering her retainers around? What do you guys think? Okay, so first Patrick and then Noemi.
Sorry, I was a little fast on that one. I think Rozemyne actually mentioned this back when she was still mine, and Ferdinand was ordering Fran around when he was her retainer. Basically, he is breaking protocol by ordering her retainers around, but she allows it because she understands the utility and the function, and she ultimately agrees with Ferdinand on what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was because of the deal.
Yeah, hold on. Noemi, please.
Okay,
and then Jess.
My turn.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was going to say that I do think like he's definitely overstepping, but he's doing it for the better goods because Rozemyne and if she was to do what she wanted to do, like she would just be reading books 24/7, and we know that it wouldn't be good for her. So Ferdinand overstepping is for her better good and her daily life working better for her, than instead of just doing nothing all day and just reading.
Yes. So sorry, Jess, go on.
I don't think he's overstepping because he's like following the deal, the whole because he was doing everything for Detlin and making decisions for Detlin, and then now it's transferred over to mine. So he is the older person, and he is the one that's going to be in charge of everything when she goes back to school. So I mean, it makes sense for him to take care of everything so he knows exactly what's going on, because she's not going to be there. She's going back to school. So that's my opinion anyway.
Imagine that, an archduchess who's still going into school.
Oh,
that is so weird.
That's
honestly,
so crazy.
when you think about it.
But she has all of the curriculum down. She has had it down since a year and a half ago.
Yeah, she's known the whole curriculum before Ferdinand left her.
I know, isn't that insane? Oh my goodness. So let me read some comments. Oh yeah?
Yeah.
You go, and then I'll read some comments in the chat. Mm-hmm.
She did. I was saying that like when we first learned that she had learned the whole curriculum, she was like, I don't even know where each school year ends.
Yeah, it was just one big blob of information in her brain. So again, let me see.
Damn you, Dragon Mom.
So Gillian Priest, for example, says Ferdinand is overstepping the but she allows it. She is the one with the power in that relationship. Interesting point. And Red Temper says yes, as long as she allows it, it is fine. And also, let's see. Shaddix27 says poor Rozemyne being kept from her reading addiction. And TC also points out that this is nothing new. He's been doing it from the start. And so yeah, those are excellent points. So anything else you guys wanted to mention? I think Jess?
Yeah, one other thing that Ferdinand also put on her retainers to do is therapy with the whole feystone thing.
Yes, the Cornelius. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she's been
Feystone therapy.
Feystone therapy, which
Mm-hmm.
she's not happy about, but you know.
Yeah, it's necessary though. Imagine having done Entwickeln without being able to do that. She has like the huge foundation is, oh my goodness, that would have been a mess, especially getting through the puzzle or whatever, the labyrinth, to get through into the foundation with a curse as a stake of if she gets it wrong, she gets cursed. Weird. Interesting. Let's talk about that later. So yeah, we have...
I wanted to talk about that now.
Later. I want to keep this as chronological as possible. Don't worry. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about these busy days?
I just find it amusing that instead of touching grass, she's touching Feystone.
Right. So she complains about this all to Ferdinand, but he once more appeases her, quote unquote, by giving her authority to oversee and organize her library as she wishes to do so. A duty that, let me point out, she was already gonna have anyway, but it works, you know, and it reminds me, again, back to part 3, you guys, so many callbacks. Remember when she was already gonna receive the key to the library at the temple, but he manipulates her into thinking that it would be a reward for her, and boy, did it work. Know what I mean?
Rozemyne is so predictable in those schemes of his.
Yeah.
I think it's one-track mind, that's why. She's not really paying attention to the bigger picture. She's just like books, like an addict, you know? So as long as she gets her fix, she doesn't care how she gets it.
It kind of harken.
Mine always thinks like
hold
that.
Hold on a second, Alvaro. First, Patrick, and then you can go.
Sorry. For me, it kind of harkens back to when Ferdinand was teaching her how to be a noble. He would give her a task and say, "Oh, if you do well in this, you have this book to read." And the book was literally just the next assignment that she was going to have.
You're right. Yeah. Alvaro?
What I'm going to say is that Rozemyne does that to herself. When Deadline was going to come to visit, she was telling Ferdinand that he could think of all the good things that Deadline might bring with her, even if she does it, just to put him in the right frame of mind. So Rozemyne would have done that to herself and said, "Oh, the keys that if she would have noticed, she would have psyched herself out to say this is a positive thing."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
And so all in all, though, it's a win-win situation because there's some people that we want to do the things, like we want to be kept in task, but we just don't have the actual self-restraint. And so we end up procrastinating and hoping for the best. And usually it works, but it's so much better when you just get things done in a timely manner. And so, yeah, manipulative, maybe, but it's also persuasive. It's mostly persuasive. Yeah, Tracy Smith also says it here in the chat. Did you read my mind? Once again, Ferdinand is either being persuasive or manipulative. I'd go with persuasive. Though manipulative could also fit in pretty well. By the way, Joshua Wicker, just want to say thank you for the super chats. Says, I wish you all a wonderful discussion. I'm going to leave for now, but I will listen to the replay. Okay, no worries. And thank you so much for your super chat donation. Really appreciate it. Jess? Oh.
Yeah, I think it's a trade-off because Rozemyne doesn't want to do all that work that Ferdinand's doing. Mm-hmm. So she's like, he can do all this work, so I won't have to do it, and I'll eventually have more time to read.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She doesn't care about power. She just wants enough power that she can just be stuck in a room reading books and having good
food. Yep. Patrick?
So Teal made a pretty astute observation in the Discord chat saying, in Japanese, one-track mind has the kanji for book.
Oh, really? That's so sweet.
Also, it's hilarious that Rozemyne is looking forward to retirement so she can be like her idol Solange.
Oh yes,
I know. Me just like imagining in my head just Grandma Rozemyne just reading books to children. I'm like,
and hobbling over across the bridge to see her man Ferdinand on the other side.
I don't even think that because she was already making it seem like Ferdinand was an old man, and he's like, "How old do you think I am?"
Well, that's why she has to go into the other side. She has to go to his lab because he'll be older. Anyway, we're getting off track here. So let's continue on, you guys. So, Entwickeln. There's a puzzle that they need to use to access Foundation Hall. There's also like a key, but it's not in the shape of a key. It's in the shape of an object. In this case, it was like a buckle, which Detland used to wear before. So she uses this to access the Foundation Hall, where we learn about the puzzles needed to be solved to access the Foundation Hall. And we actually saw a little bit of this back with Sylvester when we got his POV for the Battle of Ehrenfest. You guys remember he kept going back and forth?
Yeah.
So in that time I was like, what are these things he's doing? Like putting stuff in like a little bowl. I was like, yeah, it was part of the puzzle. And so she mentions it curses you if you get the answer wrong. But she still follows down to the letter the instructions. And how did she know how to access the Foundation Hall? How did she get the answer to the puzzles? You guys remember?
Ferdinand delved into Alstead's and Detland's minds.
Ooh,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I felt bad for that because it seemed like they made it seem like it was really gross.
Yeah, it sounds like a trauma. It sounds traumatic.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be for Ferdinand too. I'm like,
yes. I worry mostly for Ferdinand, you guys.
It would be pretty traumatic to go into Detland's mind anyway.
Oh.
Hey, it's not that bad.
I'm surprised he found anything in there.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
That is the correct response.
Don't do that to her.
Sorry, Noemi, you're outnumbered. None of us here are sympathizers. All right. So
Eglantine later comments how hard was to read Detland's mind. Mm-hmm. So I wonder what happened with Ferdinand.
Oh,
because
no!
Last time they saw, she tried to blow up the room.
Oh my goodness!
Oh no!
So all I know is if there's a way for Ferdinand to get like a brainwashing after going through Detland's mind, I don't know. I think he needs something to just clear off that nonsense. So imagine synchronizing your emotions with Detland's. Gillen Paris points out. Jazz?
Does anybody feel like in this PrePub, like Ferdinand is still in war mode? He's still a soldier right now. Like that's what it feels like. That he's still in, like all this stuff might be still happening, but in the back of his mind, he's like, I still have to, make sure everything's happening right because anything can go wrong.
In the words of George Washington in Hamilton, he said, governing is harder. Yeah, winning is easy, governing is harder. So Ferdinand is at this point where he's not going to let go of this intense mode until, first of all, I believe Rozemyne has to be absolutely 100% safe in her new duchy, because we keep seeing hints of just unrest, of people like trying to get access to her, them really being careful with her. There's just discontent that they're shielding her from, but there's no doubt danger. So he's not gonna drop his defenses at all. Who knows how long he'll have to be like that, and I hope they sort the situation soon.
Hopefully.
Hey, so I wanted to ask a question of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Who else thought that Rozemyne should turn that key that was a buckle into a bookmark?
Oh, everyone. It should all be a bookmark. Definitely.
I was wondering, can you even do that though? Like, it didn't really say that if she can transform the buckle into anything else. I reread that like a couple times just to see if she can change it, but it didn't seem like she even wanted to change it.
Mm-hmm.
But if she can make it into a bookmark or a book, like that would be the best option.
Wouldn't it? We'll see. Maybe that could happen. But they didn't mention anything about changing the key. So who Who knows?
Boo-hoo.
Yeah, probably they were like, that's pretty low in our rank of, like, our priorities list, so, eh. So let's continue on. We get the Entwickeln. We see exactly how it is done. We see the prayer. We see the gold dust in action. Actually, I found it really fascinating. If you guys remember, the last time, or the only time we saw Entwickeln actually happening was when Ferdinand made the temple in Haas. But we didn't hear any of like his words or anything, any specifics. Now we get full-on specifics. Unfortunately,
well, right, because if he was to say those words in front of people, he would say the names of both the god of darkness and the goddess of light, and that's strictly taboo. He, at the very least, he'd lose access to the shop.
Yep.
At the very least, might lose his life.
Yeah. So
they're not very happy with him anyway.
So we see. Unfortunately, she can't really see it in action because she's stuck in the Foundation Hall. But there are two people who are, of course, going to do everything they can for her, and they're going to record it. Who are these two people that are going to record it for her?
Hartmut and
Her
Clarissa.
simps! Her simps!
We all know. Like, I don't even know why we're asking this.
No, it could be somebody else. It could be some other of her scholars. But
They're not as big as simps as Hartmut and Clarissa.
And even if it was one of her other scholars,
Or
it would
Eustace.
probably be at the direction of the simps.
Yeah. Or Eustace could also do it. Eustace is also Ferdinand's scholar. He would also want to keep it for, for his own research.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my
Absolutely.
You had all
Yeah.
3 simps.
Yeah, remember, Eustace was like sticking his head against the glass when the mass circle happened. Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
So he could have also
Though
been.
Eustace has a good moment later on in the ceremony.
He does indeed. So, so we get Rozemyne's questions for the key. She has to overwrite whatever the Arensback people had, and she's going to. Should I talk about this first? Well, anyway, so let me just finish the Entwickeln. So she makes a library. The library is based on the British Museum reading room. Also, she'll include living quarters for when she retires and spends her days there as a living librarian. Like you guys mentioned earlier, she so looks forward to being retired and being like Solange. And there's also a suspended corridor connecting the library to Ferdinand's laboratory. She gave him carte blanche. He designed it. She has no idea what specifications were used in the design. She doesn't really care. As long as he's happy, she's happy. And again, finally, she sets up a new entrance and puzzle for her foundation to overwrite the one that the previous ops used. Uses a set of questions in the old language having to do with Ranganathan's 5 laws of library science. And I was like, what's this? Is this like a Jürgen Schmidt thing? That sounds like a very Jürgen Schmidt sounding name. I looked it up, you guys, because Wikipedia never fails. And Wikipedia says it's actually an Earth thing. Have you guys did you guys know about this before? Or were you guys curious? Because I was curious. So I looked it up and I'm showing it to you guys. I'm putting in there 5 laws of library science, a theory that S.R. Ranganathan, if I'm butchering the name, welcome to a club, proposed in 1931, detailing the principles of operating a library system. Many librarians from around the world accept the laws as the foundations of their philosophy. What do you guys think about this puzzle? Do you think it's fitting? Do you think it's difficult enough? What are your thoughts?
It's absolutely fitting because this is
definitely fitting.
This is a foreign
library
concept to Jürgen Schmidt.
I mean, she also put in basically a dead language, so.
She did. So everybody, hello, how are you, Brandon? So we're talking about PrePub, so if you don't want to be spoiled,
I'm just saying, you're heretics.
Leave,
Hey,
Yeah, she said that she wanted the ancient language so the research site wouldn't go missing again because they have no choice but to learn the ancient language.
Yeah.
So I just have a feeling that her entire duchy is going to be like full of people with Gersher sites,
Oh my
Well,
god.
I don't know about that much, but at least the Archduke candidates will.
At least the
Yeah.
newer
Definitely.
generation.
Yeah, so they would all have to be omni-elemental, so that's actually a really tall order. But if she enforces praying, like if she doubles down on that, they might get a lot of omni-elemental stuff eventually. But it's gonna take a while. But I do believe that all her children will be eligible to get the Gutrasite, and they will all be made to read books and learn the ancient language, at least for the first one or
Definitely.
first or second generation. I don't know. I think it's cute and in keeping with her philosophy, but I can't help but worry that in about 2 or 3 or maybe 4 generations, somebody's gonna go rogue, and everything she assumed her descendants would live up to, love libraries, and I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm hopeless. I'm hopeful, but Patrick?
I
Yeah,
agree
that's
with.
the consequence of history and time.
Hold on a second, Jazz. First, Patrick, please.
So I agree with you. It's kind of human nature that what was tradition will be perverted or warped, and people will just deviate from what they were supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
Jazz?
I think it's like Attack on Titan. You start one way and then you go right back to the way you started eventually.
Hmm.
So you fix it and then you go right back to the cycle. I mean, it's been proven in history that we constantly are for peace, and then we go right back to war, and then we go right back to peace, and we go right back to war. It's like
a
in our
cycle.
history.
Yeah, it's a cycle.
Yeah.
It's like I heard something about like every
Yeah.
200 years there has to be like a revolution or like a change, like a very drastic change. But anyway, we digress. But
No,
yeah,
I can
Every
see
100
a future in which the Hartmut and Clarissa, they brainwash the whole duchy, and in the future the Alexandrians are crazy about books in the library, like the Dunkelfelders are crazy about Dieter.
it would be lovely if they could establish such a culture. Honestly, it would be amazing if they would. We do know that they might not be the only ones that will be crazy for scholarship. We hear of, well, I'm hoping, here's a hope. We did hear that, wait, did we talk about this, or is this web novel only? Maybe I shouldn't talk about this. Never mind.
I don't think you should talk about it.
Yeah. So now I'll
If
talk
I
about
know
it
where
later.
this is heading,
But I want to know.
The Adolphine
No, you
thing.
don't.
The Adolphine thing.
Is
Did
it
we
one
talk
of the
about
other
it?
duchies more of a meritocracy?
Yeah. So
The one they're Adolphines from, right?
Adolphines. Yeah, she was.
They're from
I don't
meritocracy,
know.
basically.
Their meritocracy. They make sure that they're scholars. But I think I'm sorry if this is web novel, but I'm pretty sure it says PrePub, where she said she took an interest in Rozemyne's library city and would love to have her own research city. I don't know. Was
I
this
don't-
PrePub?
That checks out.
I'm sorry.
I think that's web novel.
Damn it! I'm
No, I
sorry.
think that's a pre-pub. No, I think that's a pre-pub.
That's
No,
a
I
pre-pub.
don't-
know.
Oh, thank
That
you,
might
Red
be one of
Tempest.
the prologue.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay,
Red
so it's
Tempest.
okay.
I see you on there. But hey, you guys know what we're going for. We haven't heard the last of Adolphine, I'm sure. There is,
Definitely not.
and if it's not in this book, there's a side story that details the aftermath of like after that meeting with Rozemyne, like just how everything just slotted into place and how she ends up, and so it's really interesting. I'm not quite sure if it's in the book or not.
So I do believe that due to Rozemyne and Ferdinand making their library city and his laboratory attached to it, I think Alexandria will, for at least the foreseeable future, be a duchy of scholars. They will definitely have no problems in the interduchy tournaments, and yeah, I believe that this will have long-lasting impacts on not just Alexandria, but Jürgen as a whole.
Yeah, but
Yes.
it also lead to problems because knowledge is power, which Ferdinand and Rozemyne already showed that through all these volumes that we've been reading. And so the more knowledgeable they are in Alexandria, which they will be because you have Rozemyne and Ferdinand there, the more dangerous it is for Alexandria because of other duchies that are jealous or that don't have as much as Alexandria would have in the future.
Yeah. You know,
Agreed.
there
Jealousy.
is a knowledge, there is power in knowledge, and I do believe that if you educate your people, your nobles, right down to your most humble folk, that society tends to just move in the right direction. So I am very hopeful. It was just like a little kind of bit of unease, but I am hopeful. That everything will work out. Yes, we are hopeful, you guys. We'll be optimistic. Yes.
It's a fantasy world. It should work out.
Yes,
right?
it will work out. We can make it work out. Yes. And then
fantasy.
So let's see. The library that she... Oh, wait, I already did that. So after that, she receives a visit from Eglantine. Unfortunately, while Rozemyne would love nothing more than to start setting up her library, put her books on the shelves, it's impossible because they're really rushing to prepare for Eglantine's arrival. Big sad, of course, but she can't help it. She has to do the things. So Eglantine arrives like a few days later. Everyone, when they receive her, everyone kneels except Rozemyne. And Rozemyne points out that there's a change in Eglantine. Do you guys remember what the change was?
She looks more tired than that's how I read it. She doesn't look as entitled or something like that, but like she looks tired.
She looks like a president of a country.
Yeah,
you have all
years.
You have everything. Because she's Zent, so it's all the duchies that she's responsible for in terms of religious practices and the gods. And she made a huge promise to the gods that she would get her own Gersha site too, and she made other promises to them to bring back prayer and stuff like that. So yeah, she's probably running under a lot of pressure, and she's probably not sleeping.
Patrick?
So yes, the language that she used was her countenance was changed, which I believe is alluding to what everybody has mentioned already, that she looks more tired, she's more stressed.
So Gillen Paris
having gray hairs early.
And Gillen Paris does point out the exact wording that was used here. Thank you, Gillen. I was trying to see if anybody said. She said she looks less princessly. She still had the peaceful expression that she always wore, which I guess it's like her noble mask that everybody has one. So that's hers.
That's a trained mask.
Yeah, but her eyes seem to be sharper. So quite a bit has happened. Yeah, quite a bit has happened since the last time she saw Eglantine. And let's remember that Eglantine and Anastasius had the responsibility of getting Gervasio, and they saw a very terrible fight. They lost almost half of their knights in capturing him. So who knows what she saw? Who knows how it affected her? But again, as the Crazy A says, she's stressed out. Benjamin Riley says heavy is the crown. And Tracy Smith says she's more exhausted. Yeah, Jess?
We also have to take into account that she is on Ferdinand's shit list, pretty much. She's like, he's not like Rozemyne's like la la la, she's not friendly, but she's still Rozemyne. But Ferdinand doesn't forgive, and he doesn't forget. So and then this chapter it shows, because even Rozemyne noticed it. His revenge smile is what she called it. She's like, no, that's not. So like, he's not over it. He's so not over it.
Yep.
This is going to be a while before he even calms down of getting back at people who screwed him over.
I have a feeling he's going to hold a grudge until death.
Well, he's not just holding his own grudge, he's holding a grudge for Rozemyne too, because Rozemyne is not the type of person to get revenge. So he's holding her grudges too, so he's getting back for her as well as himself.
Yeah. Patrick.
I did appreciate that Eglantine was trying to make amends. She is realizing just how far the royal family overstepped, and she's apologizing. Even though it's a little too late
Yeah.
Yeah, Ferdinand doesn't want to hear it.
Yeah, he
At
basically
least-
tells her, like, put your money where your mouth is, right?
At least
Unfortunately.
she's trying to get to a place where, like, she's acknowledging her fault. You don't, like, this is the thing, you don't ever have to accept an apology, but having an apology brought forward is always going to help with moving forward in the
Yeah.
future.
So, like an apology is not really an apology if somebody doesn't say what they did wrong and two, how they can make things better. You never really try to apologize if you don't have those two things, because otherwise it's not an apology. It's not meant. So I saw that whatever we think of Eglantine, like, you have to give her credit for that. Now, whether the people are obligated to accept it or not, that's a different issue. Who wanted to speak? Was it Jess? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jazz.
I was like, also, I don't think she's like 100% sorry, to be honest, because we have to realize that she is one of the people that are in the know that Ferdinand is pretty much the Zent. Ferdinand is the Zent, okay? He has control over Rozemyne, which has control over Eglantine. He has a Grusha site, and he knows, and he has all these connections, and he knows what's going on, and he's pissed. So I would try to say sorry to him too, you know?
Fair enough.
As one of my favorite hotel owners would say, it starts with sorry.
Aw.
Yeah. It always
So
starts with an apology.
everything is, this conversation takes place after they show their hospitality. They have a meal which was more than satisfactory. Anastasia was pleased, not only at the food, mostly that Eglantine was able to eat her fill, as she has barely eaten for days, so he tells us. Again, like we said before, Eglantine recognizes that she wronged them and must apologize. How genuine or not that is, it's up for debate, I suppose. Ferdinand tells her that what she can do to make up for it, and has her sign and approve a bunch of things. Namely, or some of these are engagement that to Lady Rozemyne stay in place as a result of a royal decree, a signature needed to provide more legitimacy, and also this thing about, yes, they will adopt Letizia, but they're going to push Letizia to marry Hildebrand. So she's not going to be automatic the next of Arnsbach. Arnsbach is no longer exists, so
Well,
she's going to be pushed over to Hildebrand. That's what he says. Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me just finish.
Sorry.
So Ferdinand did this. They're like, well, why don't we just cancel that? And Ferdinand returned the venomous smile as he gazed upon the guests, says, I would rather Lord Torquil and the rest of the royal family bear the weight of the orders they so freely made. Owie. Yes, he still has holding a grudge. All right, Patrick, say what you need to say. You're bursting with it.
Yes, I really, really did want to say this. So, Ferdinand, who is very well known for finding loopholes and exploiting stuff that can be exploited, he said, well, she can still be the next Ob Arnsbach, but this won't be Arnsbach. This is Alexandria. Let's have Arnfald's duchy be Arnsbach. Let her be the Archduchess of that duchy.
Yes. Yes, let's double down on the Lord of Evilness. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
Okay, so first was it Jess and then Ed?
Yeah. I thought it was strange that because it's so normal, that Anastasius was so astounded by the fact that they gave Rozemyne her practical exam, like made it a test.
Yeah, we're not there yet though. but go on.
No, I'm just I didn't really understand why it was such a big deal.
Well, so that is because the destruction of those metals can result in the death of someone, and I mean he knows that since the people whose metals they are destroying are outside of the duchy, they won't actually die; they'll just lose their stops. But he does find that a very severe test of her abilities.
Yeah, I mean, let's think about what she's doing. It's not just that they're gonna lose their Stab. They're basically damned to not ever enter the rest of heaven. You know, like when they die, they're not going to be able to ascend the heights. Who knows what's going to happen to their souls? They're going to be left in limbo. So it's a very severe thing, but they're treating it as, I don't know, just an exercise for you to pass your test, Rozemyne. So that, I think, because he already has done it, and I think when he did it, remember when Ferdinand had him destroy Gervasio's medal, he felt like this, like he could feel, I imagine, just the seriousness of what he was doing. So the fact that it was just treated very flippantly when she was destroying not just one, but a whole bunch of people's medals, and it was just like, okay, exercise done. I think that's what just threw him off, like kind of like, this is how you're going to treat something like this.
Yeah, I think what threw me off is it said it's part of the curriculum, so I'm like, well, if that's part of the curriculum, aren't they going to do that in
I'm sure they use practice medals.
Yeah,
well, I thought they used real ones.
Yeah, they do not use real ones.
Oh my god, they use real ones?
Hold on. Patrick, please.
Yep.
Oh,
I do want to say
Ed, sorry, Patrick. I forgot. I was supposed to tell Ed.
Oh yeah, Ed had something to say. I'm sorry,
so
Ed.
sorry, Ed.
Yep. The fact that Ferdinand was there to say maybe Letizia should become the next ruler of Arensbach, which would be the Duchy of Tarquil. There's multiple alternatives to that. One of them is like, okay, we're gonna rename a new duchy with the name of the old duchy that rebelled, and Tarquil is gonna bear that sin for the rest of time. And also it's also a jab that we're gonna still marry Hildebrand to Letizia, because Hildebrand is Finnish as a noble anyways, because his Stab is never gonna be good enough for him to take on the duties of an archduke. So the best thing he can be is actually a supporting character. So if Tarquil actually wants his family line to continue to run a duchy other than Sigiswald, then he has no choice but to take that deal. Otherwise, that's it. He's gone.
He could have more kids. He could have more kids, but yeah. Oh, Patrick. Patrick, please.
Yes, I was just gonna say that Anastasius's his protest of Rozemyne having to perform that test, it kind of endeared me a little to him, because it shows he has concern for her well-being.
Mm-hmm.
I've always
what was funny about
hold on a second. I think it was Noemi and then Jas.
Yeah. So I always loved Anastasius, but Anastasius with Eglantine is just so cute. That's during the whole chapter I was just reading it and I was like, Anastasius is the best husband ever.
Let us talk. Yes. Jas, and then we're gonna go into talking about the winter misunderstanding. So Jas.
No. Ferdinand is the best husband ever. Because in this chapter,
do not sidetrack me.
Chapter, they were acting already married.
True.
And I just don't understand Rozemyne, to be honest, because it goes towards the next chapter too, that she's his wife. She acts like a wife. She doesn't act like, his protege anymore. She acts like his wife. And she says things that I say to my husband. Like, right, honey? Yeah, sure.
So I want to respond that. I was going to say when you're done, I wanted to respond to that. But I think it's because Rozemyne isn't familiar with interpersonal relations. She can read other people like a book. No problem. She is super perceptive. But when it comes to her own heart, she doesn't really know it.
Yeah, she has some growing to do. Yeah.
She's never really been in a situation where she's had to oh, wait, could these be romantic feelings? Or could romantic feelings come from wanting to be a family? Could that be part, she doesn't understand that. It's not that she doesn't understand, it's that for her, it looks like mostly her romantic feelings would come mostly from the want of being loved and having affection from Ferdinand, just having him there for her is what it feels like.
So it's very, very interesting how they have this interesting relationship, the two of them. And we have Eglantine and Anastasia's witness how they get along. Eglantine thinks that they summoned Winter to have Rozemyne return to normal.
Oh my god.
But Ferdinand disabuses her immediately of such a notion, tells her that he used the potion because apparently this is what we learn. I didn't know. In order to dye a person via the marital route, it's not immediate. Like you need constantly and several sessions, I suppose, in order for a person to be fully dyed. Whereas with a potion, it does it immediately. Of course, there's the other thing that Rozemyne is devouring, so that is super quick, the dyeing. But like ordinarily, nobles, they would take it wouldn't just be the first time that they sleep together that they would be dyed entirely. So that's interesting to note. But
That was an interesting thing.
But during this conversation, Eglantine is like, "Oh, okay, I see." She keeps talking about that. Meanwhile, Rozemyne is super embarrassed, as is Anastasia. Both of them just want them to shut up about this Winter situation. Honestly, I thought Anastasia is a hoot. I feel like, I also saw some comments in the Reddits. They pointed out that he and Rozemyne now seem to have like an older brother, younger sister dynamic. And,
absolutely.
I love it. I like
Definitely.
it. I like it a lot. And it's interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
I like how the relationship developed from like the first interaction to this point. Like, you just see how like at some point he was just fed up and then didn't want to deal with it anymore, and then just started being like, okay, I don't have a choice to deal with this.
Yeah. So
it sounded like Eglantine was saying, "Oh, but it's just getting good," when he's like, "Let's go."
It was because Rozemyne kept blabbing on us, saying like, "Oh yeah, we're not romantic with each other like that," but she kept saying like how much she cares for Ferdinand, how much he makes her dreams come true, how much he is devoted, and Eglantine just listens like with this little smile on her face, whereas Anastasia is just like, "I'm tired of this. I want to throw up. I want to go. Let's go. Please, let's go."
I don't want to hear about this.
Hey, Chad, you hear what Magpie sounds like right now? This is what a simp sounds like.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone. But it's true.
It does sound like a sin, but
Where's the
you
lie?
don't have to mention it out loud.
So, let's see. So, again, Rozemyne keeps insisting that she and Ferdinand are not like that, but everything she says about how much she admires him just belie her assertions. And ultimately, after they inspect the site of where the old Lancenabe estate used to be, they see that it's no longer there. There's no magic circle. There's new houses built where the site was. So they're like, okay, let's leave. And so they leave. Anything about this, the royal visit that you want to point out that we didn't touch upon? Now is your time.
So many Fairmine shippers just keep getting added on.
Oh yes, yes.
In the book, we got Eglantine. Worst combination ever. Don't mix Eglantine and Elvira together.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
In the same room.
That's gonna
I
be
would
interesting.
love for them to have a conversation, but I just wanted to note how I love how Anastasius, from the beginning, he's just so antagonistic towards Rozemyne. He's just a jerk. And over time, as they get used to each other, as they interact more, even though Traucol kind of forbids it at one point, they start to be more friendly towards each other. To the point where now he's actually supporting her and he's acting more deferential to her. That may be because by nobility standards, he sees her as superior to the Zent, superior to himself, but he's actually nice to her.
Yeah. They've come a long way. Hold on a second. I think it was Kadir. Welcome, Kadir, and then Noemi.
It's like Anastasia actually worries about Rozemyne's emotions and stuff like that. It's like, oh, don't do this. This would offend her in a mostly friendly way. And also compared that action to his very first two interactions, where his first one was like, oh, you're the little thing that people keeps declaring as a saint.
Yeah.
And the second encounter with Rozemyne is like, yo, little one, look at me.
Yes, he was.
Pay attention to me.
He needed to be knocked down a peg or two, and I think he's now. They have a good working relationship. I see them working together for many years to come.
Friends that started off on the wrong foot.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. So I love to see it. I really enjoy this. And of course, Ferdinand inspiring all kinds of existential fears on him. I don't think anybody will be able to
definitely.
really treat Rozemyne lightly ever again, knowing that the Lord of Evil is behind her, and he will smite them where they stand with his wrath and his power.
The only way it could be more romantic is if Rozemyne was sitting on Ferdinand's lap the entire conversation.
Oh, Chaz, no!
While he's playing with his
Don't
hair.
suggest those things.
With her hair.
I'm sorry, but the romance is going to come later. Just wait.
There,
Oh.
I would like to
You
add,
We are going to talk about that later. Anything else? Who
No,
wanted
Lou
to add? Ed?
Me.
Ed. Okay,
Yeah.
Ed.
yeah, I want to add that the change in perspective from Anastasius towards Rozemyne is probably has a lot to do that over his interactions with him, he's learned to understand that she has a different way of thinking, of doing things that has come out to help him out a lot. So he sees her probably as somebody that holds different knowledge to go through the world in a different way than stuck in the ways that he was in the past, which allowed him to unlock. It allowed him to get Eglantine. It allowed him to avoid another bloody war with his brother for the throne. It allowed him to save to save Eglantine, his family, when he actually. There's a lot of things I think Anastasius is getting is like he's still traditionalist, but he's moving forward and he's recognizing the changes are good.
Or at least necessary. Noemi, darling, go on. I'm sorry I skipped you.
Anyway, so Anastasius, my favorite, like Anastasius's growth over the time of from going to, I am a lord over you and you are everyone calling you goddess is not true, and to like, oh my god, you're my little sister kind of situation, and then in the in-between period at some point where we all collectively hated him.
Oh yeah,
because he was related to Eglantine. But like it's the character development that Anastasius got is just so cool to
Still do.
I love it. Like I love this dude. I loved him this whole time. He's so fun. Such a cool character.
It only
He's so
takes your
fun.
family really screwing up for you to get it right.
Yep.
Yep. All right.
Sometimes
Anybody
you
else?
just need to have a horrible family.
Anybody else before we move on to the final chapter? 3, 2, 1. Okay,
chapter?
awesome.
Let's go!
The final chapter. Woo! All right, everybody.
Let's go!
Hold me back, you guys. Hold me back because I am excited for the next one. Oh my goodness. Okay.
There was so much.
So much goodness to talk about.
Can anyone tell how excited Magpie was for this?
All right, so let us just go chronologically because otherwise I'm just gonna go off tangent, you guys. The engagement ceremony. Rozemyne dresses. She combines fashion from Aramphis and Arensback, greenish in color, veiled to match the culture of her new duchy. Dressed like a bride, she feels embarrassed. But check this. Ferdinand's and Rozemyne's attendants, they communicate so that their attires are they're matching attires, which is like now I know a whole bunch of people in the world, they think that coupled outfits is cringy and whatnot.
Just gonna squee?
Yes, but that was Noemi, that was not me. But I think it's really cute. I think it's really cute in this situation. and I don't know. Anyway, so they have matching attires. He did adopt a different dress, which is like an Arensback style of clothing. She described it at length. We see it mostly in the illustration. So he's wearing new clothes as well. Jazz, did you want to say something?
I was just gonna say, like, and it's not cringy because during a wedding, usually the bride and the groom match.
Yeah, that is true. Yes. So we have Rozemyne getting prepared. Rozemyne hearing that there's so many people, you guys, coming in for the ceremony. There's Giebs are coming in from other duchies. They don't know her, so they're gonna witness her. Oh my goodness, who's that? What's that?
I have no idea what just happened upstairs.
All right, so mute yourself if you have audio. Otherwise, I will mute you. All right, whoever it is. So we have Rozemyne goes to welcome her Ehrenfest people. It's her family. We have Elvira is ecstatic about her daughter's engagement to her favorite hero, and she is no doubt going to write their book very soon. Meanwhile, we have an exchange with Rozemyne and Sylvester. What did you guys think about their exchange?
Oh, Sylvester, how did you even get your wife? Seriously. How? Like,
I was getting some Big Brother energy there from him.
Mm-hmm. Like, yes, Circeus.
Look what makeup could do.
I think Sylvester is what we all want to say about Rozemyne. Sylvester can say it. You're beautiful until you start opening your mouth.
This chapter made me so disappointed we couldn't do weekly reads, because I would love to be either Sylvester or Bonifacius.
Well, we are going to do the weekly read just in time. Sorry, Jess, you were going to say something?
No, I think he said that because he wanted her, like, okay, I'm trying to imply that you need to shut up and look pretty for this.
Oh my gosh. Well,
basically don't embarrass me.
Yeah. But what I do appreciate though is like, yeah, he can say this stuff, but Rozemyne is not one to just take it. She dishes it out equally, and that's what makes this okay, because yeah, he's her adopted father, but they have never really treated each other as father-daughter. There's always been like this, they treat each other as like co-workers almost. Like, remember they all the time they had crises. Well, they had crisis in Ehrenfest. Yes. She sat in among the main people of Ehrenfest. Karsted.
Yeah, she's always treated him more equally than as a father.
Yeah,
I just feel like Sylvester and Rozemyne are the most related to each other personality-wise.
Oh my god, they're so similar.
They're both gremlins.
Dang.
So yeah, I'm like, it's like nobody will say that's not your dad because you act just like him.
And their color is sort of similar-ish too.
Yeah,
their hair color, yeah.
Oh, they're so cute.
Mm-hmm.
Flush.
Mm-hmm. What is it? Do you want to say something?
1 second. That's why she looks so much like Melchior too.
Oh yes, yeah. It's good that they have similar looks to help with the story of him being the father, because otherwise the way he acts, it would be like he's an older brother kind of situation. Yeah, they're less father-daughter dynamic and more of a sibling-like dynamic, which is kind of checks now because she will become his sister-in-law.
Oh my god.
Which leads us to a very twisted family tree, you guys. I don't know, like...
Oh no!
How's the family tree gonna look like?
I like how Wilfred got out of going to the wedding. Or the engagement ceremony.
So
it's like, oh, don't take me, take Bonifatius. He really wants to go see his granddaughter. I'll stay here in the duchy.
Okay,
I'm
hold on a
getting
second.
some West Virginia vibes.
Yeah. Hold on, Circeus and then Kadir.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the family tree doesn't turn into a wreath, I think we're good.
Good point. That would be her marrying Bonifacius. Oh,
yeah.
I know. I can't believe I just said that. I'm so sorry I said that. I repent. Kadir.
Yeah. Wait, damn, what was it?
Were you
I
gonna
was
say
gonna
something?
Tim, I forgot.
All right, Jess.
Oh wait, no. Yeah, I remember now.
Okay, you then Jess.
Wilfried sending Bonifacius is like Veronica level of scheming.
Oh, you know what? I don't credit him too much with that. I think he just did it without thinking. I don't credit him with enough foresight. Honestly, I don't.
Yeah.
Jess.
Yes, that is very in character for him. No thinking.
I'm very impressed with Rozemyne during this because all this crazy stuff that's happening, and you'll see as we talk about it later on, but all this crazy stuff that's happening, and she still is able to one up on Elvira. She's trying to be slick. She's trying to get information out of me that she doesn't need.
Well, you know what? Elvira was a scholar, and she's a really good information gatherer. So if she doesn't get it directly from Rozemyne and Ferdinand, she's going to get it from their retainers somehow or another. Don't worry.
Go to Clarissa and Hartmut.
Don't worry. She'll get her way. Let me just read this line that I loved and which some people are alluding to in the chat. He says, "It's a miracle Sylvester, it's a miracle what a little makeup can do. Too bad the illusion will shatter as soon as you open your mouth." And Rozemyne replies, "I could say the same for you. The moment you speak, I wonder why anyone thought to put you in the ob's clothes."
I like that story. That was nice little
energy.
Yeah. Florencia was there to keep everybody in check. But ultimately, you know what? It's okay. She's going to be his sister-in-law, so it should work out. And he's like, take care of my little brother. What else?
Sadly, it's important to note this is the last time that they can speak so openly to each other.
Aww. Which is weird.
My God,
Which is weird, you guys, because she is going right after the ceremony. She's going to go back to Ehrenfest. So I'm like, what? Who's going to know in Ehrenfest? Who's going to care in Ehrenfest? But
no one.
But
everyone.
Yeah. Again. Sylvester's gonna have to kneel to Rozemyne once, from now on, because she outranks him. Jess?
I liked Karstead because he was he had his father of the bride. He's I could care less about my sons, but my daughter.
Yes. Yeah. It was such a sweet moment with Karstead, who is moved at seeing his daughter. He was like, yeah, my son was whatever, but in my girl's special day. And not only that, he says he feels comforted and even happy that she's not moving to a sovereignty after all, and that she's ending up with Ferdinand. So that was a sweet moment. Unfortunately,
I'm really glad.
So cute.
Yes,
I'm really glad
It got ruined.
that was. I'm really glad that got mentioned because I completely forgot about that. It was so touching.
It was touching.
It
I
got
have a quick
ruined
question.
by
Yes, Nick.
certain person. Oh yes.
So you just alluded to that Rozemyne outranks Sylvester once she becomes Ob, but will Alexandria retain the same position that Arnsbach did, since it's now a fallen duchy?
I do believe that it's still a major duchy. It's still a major duchy, whereas Ehrenfest is still a middle duchy. So even if it's the lowest rank of the greater duchies, it's still going to be above Ehrenfest. Especially because
I'm pretty sure it's still ranked 6.
Yeah, especially because with the divine avatar watches the sins. Yeah.
So the rankings have to change
will.
during the Archduke
They will
Conference.
change.
Dunkelfelger's condition was that it will now rank above
Klassenberg.
Klassenberg at all times, at least while Eglantine is still alive. But when Eisenreich was a greater duchy, and when it fell, obviously it got parceled out, but the majority of it became Ehrenfest, and it became a lower ranked duchy at that time.
Right, but it's also important to note that Rozemyne is still seen as the divine avatar of Meshnora.
I know, like I said, though, I don't know, because I haven't read the web novel, but it's not at this point, it wouldn't seem to be a foregone conclusion that they would automatically, retain the same rank, especially since Arnsbach itself was, complicit now it won't exist, obviously, but the land was complicit in a rebellion. And now that Rozemyne put down that rebellion, that gives a lot of credence to it retaining some of its power, but maybe not all of it, kind of thing.
You also have to take the fact that not all of Arensbach rebelled. It was only a minority, and a large portion of the duchy was actually also a victim in the conflict.
Well, I mean, when Eisenreich rebelled, it was only a couple members of the
usually the
family that
the
did it.
sins of everybody fall upon the whole duchy of one group following the duchy. Yeah. Sorry,
So,
Jess.
I mean, like, given that
hold
they're
on.
also
Yeah.
the ones that turned back the rebellion, it would make sense that, because obviously, other than Dunkelfelger, no one else came to the Royal Academy's aid or came to the Zent's aid. So I guess that would,
I think
bolster it.
a lot of the questions will be answered after the Archducal Conference if we get them answered. So we just have to wait and see what number rank they get. Jazz?
So back to the family. This is such like a normal wedding because you always have that one relative that is just so loud and obnoxious.
The drunk one, yes.
Yeah, and so her grandfather comes in, and I'm just thinking, I'm like, oh geez, if he's like this, what is he going to be like during the wedding or when she gets pregnant?
Oh my. Well, hopefully they don't bring him along for the wedding.
No.
I think they will have learned
they're
enough that they won't bring Bonifacius to the wedding. And
He's like, were there no better options?
Yeah, and I don't think he would actually act out in the Archduke Conference, even if he does go, because that's a more serious affair. You don't want to act out in the presence of the Zent and all the other people. You would just bring disgrace to your duchy. I
Can
think
Bonifacius attend the Archduke Conference?
I don't know. It depends.
Depends on if Wilfred or Charlotte were
usually-
the ones going to stay back, to control
Yeah,
both.
he's usually the one
Charlotte-
who stays.
Wilfred and Charlotte can't go to the Archduke conference because they're underage.
Oh,
we'll
that's
see.
right.
Yeah, Patrick.
But Bonifacius
Ro-
is
Hold on,
the one
Rosemary
that-
is an exception.
Woohoo, woohoo. Patrick.
He's usually the one who stays behind to manage the manor replenishment while Sylvester and everybody else goes and takes care of business at the Archduke Conference.
Yeah, that's why it's a big if he goes. I think there was Nick. Did you want to say something?
Nope, you're good.
Okay. Jazz.
No, I was just saying that Bonifacius is the one that trains the future obs and looks over them or whatever. So, he would stay.
Yeah.
He probably wouldn't go because he has to take care of the future line. Whoever stays behind.
Yeah. So moving on to the Bonifacius, though, I think this was his one chance to really see his granddaughter off, because like you pointed out, he has to stay behind. So he's not gonna go without a fight. He's not gonna just attend and keep quiet, because. By the way, Boniface is accompanied by Damiel, but we'll talk about Damiel later. He is outraged and roars his disapproval of Rozemyne marrying Ferdinand. Like, literally, he's like, why Rozemyne? Why Ferdinand of all people? People literally want to hold him back in this chapter. Wait, who was it who wanted to speak? Was it Nick?
So
Okay, Nick.
This made me actually somewhat disappointed in Bonifacius.
Ah.
Because, I'm not a Ferdinand stan. We all know that.
Anyway, go on.
But
Yes.
realistically, when he's like, "Were there no better options?" No, there aren't better. Realistically speaking, she hasn't developed relationships with a ton of people outside of her duchy, right?
Mm-hmm.
No one from her duchy is in any way in the same class as her, right?
Oh, yeah.
Other than Ferdinand.
Mm-hmm.
And the royals are fallen from grace, and so there is no better option. Period. Even from Bonifacius's worldview, he's competent. He's a member of the Ehrenfest archducal family. They know each other well. He's he's a good knight and scholar, and this actually made me I understood his reluctance for her to go off and try to save him in another duchy with putting herself at risk like that. But now that that's over, when he's any other potential relationship she's going to get into is going to be less chemistry involved, and so this made me kind of disappointed in Bonifacius a bit.
Jess?
Right, and that's why I think potentially he might have misunderstood what Rozemyne was saying before by saying that she didn't really love him in the way that he probably understood love. I think that's probably more of kind of what we saw in the story right now. Not so much that he didn't think that he was good for Rozemyne, but more that Rozemyne had already told him that like she's not, in love with him.
Yeah.
And I think that's where his confusion lied.
All right, Jess and then Patrick. Hold on.
Oh, sorry, Jess.
I was confused about Bonifacius because he's a noble, and it's not about love; it's about marriage. And it makes no sense for him to say, "Oh, you're not in love with it." It doesn't matter if she's in love with him or not. He's the person that matches her in terms of like Ami Elemental and whatever, and it's the only person she could probably have children with. So that's all that matters in noble society, doesn't it? Like,
you know what I think it is, though? I think it's like nobody will ever be good enough for her in his reckoning. No matter if whoever she would have ended up, he would have been like, no, I don't agree, I don't approve. Because whatever the case is, they taking Rozemyne is leaving Ehrenfest, so he's upset. It's just a very cranky old grandpa. We have to, give him a break, I guess. But yeah, he was still really annoying, and Rozemyne went as far as to sigh and say, "Screw you, Wilfrid, for staying back so that he could come." Patrick.
So first off, I think Bonifacius, his outburst was very in character for him since he is the overprotective grandpa. However, Rozemyne did not help the situation at all. She, in fact, dug the hole even deeper by saying, "I'm not in love with Ferdinand."
Speaking of which, I'm looking at the meme that Red Tempest made that says, instead of, what's his name from The Princess Bride? You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. Inigo Montoya. There you go. Yeah, again, she keeps saying she's not in love, but everything she says about Ferdinand and how they get along, blah, 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 it's just belying her. Like, Rozemyne, come on, honey. Somebody please tell her.
Straight to China.
Maybe it's because of, like, love books she's read. She thinks that romance is supposed to be a certain way, when realistically it's not, you know what I mean? So, like, you don't have to feel the butterflies for you to be in love, So she probably doesn't understand that because she gets all her info from books.
Yeah, if you get your info from books and movies and whatever, yeah.
Absolutely. I think at this point she is very much in love with Ferdinand. She just, as everybody's said it, she doesn't know.
Oh, well. Kadir.
Bonifacius, It's like Bonifacius reminds me of just like that stereotypical uncle that just, let me talk to your boyfriend while holding a shotgun. Yeah. Yes. And also Rozemyne is just like, oh my god.
Yeah, I totally buy that.
Yeah.
So in any case, there's like Bonifacius has to he has to put up with it because there's no going back. This is gonna happen. If Ferdinand has anything to say about it, it's gonna happen as planned. I guess we should talk briefly about the Damiel situation. Even Damiel says that he has reservations because he knew Rozemyne since she was a little kid, since before her baptism. But she points out, you know what? My case is not so different than yours and Feline. And he agrees, which makes us think like, ooh, what's going on? Was there progress in their relationship? I wonder what it was. It seems like there was because he's no longer dense, like clueless about it. He's like, oh yeah, that's true. So there's been something has happened. So I wonder what it is.
Well, either Feline and Damiel, by working in temple, they're talking and they're getting closer by step by step, or Feline took Clarissa's advice.
I want to know what happened here.
Both are great options.
Yeah, for his sake, I hope that he didn't wait for Feline to pull a Dunkelfalger on him. But you never know. This is Damiel. Okay, this is Daniel. I don't know. We don't know. As a web novel reader, I don't know it. I can't tell you because I don't know. All right, you guys. So feel free to guess amongst yourselves. There's no right or wrong answer here, at least as far as I know.
She did it. Feline did it.
There's also a chance. There's also a chance that Feline is now old enough that mana sensing has become a thing for her.
Yeah.
And Daniel feels her.
Yeah, maybe mana sensing has come to Feline. That's important. She is of age. She is of age to do that. All right, let's just go on into the engagement ceremony really quick. We have run. Oh my goodness, we're so late. Okay, so Rozemyne explains to everybody, rest assured, grandfather, it will, like, marrying Ferdinand will grant my wish too. No other man could go to such great lengths to make my dreams come true. I am literally quoting here. Not to mention, his presence calms me. I feel none of the displeasure that characterized my other two engagements, that is to Sigiswald or to Wilfrid. So, girl, if that's not like... Yeah, again.
The line is super low.
Getting hard truths on that.
On the floor.
The feystones are what killed it.
The sandal is on the floor for both of them.
Well. So during this time, speaking of family, we have Cornelius who tells her, just, you have to be firm with Ferdinand. Like, as your older brother, this is my piece of advice. Just be firm. Don't let him, like, in so many words, it's like, don't let him call the shots. Yeah, I know. You have to be firm. Don't let him lead you astray. And Rozemyne returns with, is then Leonore firm with you? And what does Cornelius, how does he react? What do you guys think about his reaction?
He's like, I didn't say nothing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Etis.
He gave...
Patrick.
Go ahead.
Etis, Patrick, Kadir.
Okay. Cornelius' internal monologue was like, what? No, I didn't say nothing. Did you look, there's snow outside.
Patrick?
In the summer, Dachi.
Yeah, so Cornelius gave the most non-answer he could possibly give because he knows that his wife is going to tell Rozemyne everything. And Rozemyne's going to check with his wife. And if he says something bad, he's going to be in the doghouse.
Oh my goodness, you guys should see the people on the chat. I cannot read some of the stuff, but... All right, Kadir.
He's probably excited, though.
Yeah, Kadir?
No, I didn't say anything.
Oh, you weren't going to say anything about Cornelius?
I think his exact line was like, what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, he was evasive about it. So, ultimately, because they're talking about... Because, Bonifacius is so against it. Ultimately, Rozemyne appeals to Sylvester with tears in her eyes. Really, it says that she had tears in her eyes, that he will not oppose her union with Ferdinand, and finally he gives his blessing, so that, and again tells her that to take care of his little brother. Sweet. Nice.
Didn't he say to get married to Ferdinand when they first were, like, a long time ago?
Right? Yes, part 3. He suggested it, and of course they both denied it because there was a different time in their lives and circumstances.
Right, because at that point they really didn't feel for each other the way they do now, and Sylvester was only bringing it up as a tease because they get along so well together, but he just loves to tease his little brother.
Exactly.
And his adoptive daughter.
Yeah, who would have known that eventually it would have all led to this? Nobody could have guessed that there would have been a separation and a rescue effort involving a real Ditter, Dunkelfelger Knights. Oh my goodness, it was an entire drama that will go down in history books as the greatest love affair ever. And you can bet your boots that Elvira will be the one to write that story. Can't wait to see it.
So my headcanon is this entire book series is Elvira's novel.
It's in the first person point of view, though.
That's a bit too meta, and Elvira would love to hide the fact that Rozemyne is a commoner.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
nearly enough religious allegories also throughout the narrative.
Right, yes.
Honestly,
Bernie?
we're reading this story either as the memoirs of Rozemyne writing them down on her deathbed, or we're reading this story through another Zent past Rozemyne and Ferdinand's time that's not reading his Gershstein and has access to all that information.
Okay, so first of all, I'd say we're reading it through Miss Leonore's POV. After all, it's like Miss Leonore kind of filters out a lot of the personal information and only leaves useful information.
I think Miss Leonore's filter would actually make Ferdinand she'd be like, Ferdinand looked like a toad, he was ugly, he was stupid, and I think she would definitely do something petty like that.
He was an Oni with red horns.
I mean, it depends.
I think,
because she's the goddess of wisdom, and her doing that would distort the truth and would distort the wisdom. So it would go against. It would go in a way against. I mean, as much as she might not like Ferdinand, her distorting the knowledge like that would go against her creed of being the goddess of wisdom.
All right. So before we go on, Jas, and then I'll just continue on to the engagement ceremony.
Oh, that's where I wanted to go to.
Okay, let me then just talk about it so we go in order. So she goes in with her attendants. She says her vows, which she doesn't understand at all, but they seem to be very moving because people are like, "Oh my gosh!"
Roderick wrote them.
And Roderick wrote them. So thank goodness for Roderick, who is her master fiction writer, but he's also a very gifted writer in his own right. And then she gives him the feystone with, you guys already know, the inscription, "Let me embroider your cape." We went at great length about the significance about it in the last chit chat, so if you want to hear about it, go check out that video. So what was Ferdinand's reaction to it?
His face was...
Okay, hold on a second. First Jas, and then Patrick.
Sorry, Jas.
His reaction was amazing. He loses his fake smile and he inhales like it took his breath away. And then he has a realization. He's like, "I'm gonna design it." It's like he was emotional, and then he's like, "Wait, this could turn out bad, so I need to make sure I'm in control."
I think that was just him suppressing his own emotions.
Yeah. All right, Patrick.
So, I have to preface this a little bit. First off, Rozemyne, good God, girl, you've been in this world longer than we've been reading about it. How do you not know what these euphemisms mean? You need to realize that you are saying some of the most romantic stuff possible right now. Also, Ferdinand's reaction was he had an expression of pure joy. He was so happy that he actually dropped his mask and let his actual emotions show.
Yes!
And he was happy, and I am crying for the man. I am so happy for him.
Oh my gosh! Yes, and they said that she clutched onto his feystone really tight.
Now he doesn't have to use that other cape.
Celsius, I saw you light up.
Yeah, so I gotta say, he reacted a little stronger than I initially anticipated when I first read those words during the last part.
Oh?
But once I kind of digested it after this part, I finally understood, okay, yeah, no one's really embroidered his cape. He either took it from someone else, or he did the embroidery himself at that point. So, no one's really done something for him to protect him.
Well,
and so that's kind of what we're seeing now, it feels like.
To me, it's not mentioned, but it's implied that the cape that he got from the previous Ob Ehrenfest, his father and Sylvester's father, was embroidered, and it was taken away by Veronica after that. It's not mentioned, but it feels like it was.
It wasn't.
I mean, I feel that makes that point even stronger then.
It wasn't, though, you guys. It has been answered by Kazuki Sensei. He embroidered it himself with defense things.
Yeah.
There was no Veronica there was no adoptive mother. There was just him doing it himself.
His ears were red.
Aw.
So yeah, he has someone looking out for him now.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I just couldn't imagine his ears being red. I'm like, oh my god, his ears are red.
So yeah, he was genuinely elated. Yes, he had red ears. So this Feystone, absolutely, the message of it went straight to his heart. And of course, you know, every time he's in danger of getting too emotional, he always covers it up with snarkisms. Because of course he went like, oh, okay, yeah, well, I'm gonna choose a design because, of course, he's embarrassed. Of course, so typical Ferdinand. Of course, typical Ferdinand. But we know you. We know you, Ferdinand. We know your ways. You loved it, didn't you? By the way, Crusher, thank you so much for your support and this super chat. Says W's for Ferdinand. Yeah, these are all. He deserves it after so long. He needs some W's right now. Some wins for him. He's gone through a lot. All right. Sorry, who wanted to speak?
He made sorry.
You first.
Ferdinand, which Ferdinand ends up one-upping her in the next part when he gives his speech, which he actually said himself. He didn't have anybody write it for him. And he also his stone also makes her really emotional, and I'm like, I didn't expect her to be that emotional about it because she keeps denying all this stuff. She's like, oh, I don't love him, I don't blah blah blah, and then she goes and does that, and I'm like, whew.
So speaking of that, what was the message in Ferdinand's Feystone? Anybody remember it?
I'll protect the duchy and you with it. Essentially, he did exactly what I thought he would. He's gonna swear an oath for protection to Rozemyne.
Yes.
The same way Gunther did.
Yes, I was going to say exactly that.
Hold on, Jess. First Patrick, then Jess. Patrick, Jess, and then
me.
Okay, Kadir, yeah. Patrick.
Anyway, so it reminds her so much of Gunther that she starts tearing up because she just recovered her memories and she remembers how much she loves her family. And I'm so glad that she has her memories back because you get the stark realization of how different she is from just pure Motoso Urano to Rozemyne with her commoner memories, and you see that she is a much more sentimental person now. She still loves books. She would still hole herself up in her library and just waste her life away reading books. But now she actually feels for other people. Now she's a whole person.
Yes, it's lovely to see. Thank you, Jess. And then Kadir.
In addition to the dad thing, she said she always wanted to marry her dad or a person like her dad. So him actually promising to protect her and stuff like that, like her dad. She's like, oh, I'm getting what I wanted. I get to marry a guy like my dad. And she was just so emotional about it, and I don't think she realized how much this was going to affect her because she kept denying it. And I think it's because she kept denying it so much that it affected her so much when this happened. And she was mad at Ferdinand. She's like, you knew this was going to happen. Which reminds me of regular weddings when they say their personal vows and they're like, you knew that would make me cry.
Kadir?
Yeah, I just find it so heartwarming yet so heartbreaking that Ferdinand was just like completely broken by the simple phrase, "Let me embroider your cape."
Yes, it just speaks of a very sad past.
Yeah,
where
it's
nobody
like such a normal and generic line means so much to Ferdinand.
Well, for us who have traveled with Rozemyne all this time, we know the significance of what it means for her to literally embroider something she hates, but she's willing to do for him.
Yes.
But yeah, you've got a point.
It's
Patrick and then Jess.
It's also worth noting that she can't protest too much to Ferdinand about saying something that's going to make her cry when she's doing literally the same thing to him.
What are you talking about? Ferdinand would never crack. He's perfectly emotionless and expressionless when the occasion calls for it. So
I don't know. He spends a lot of time in his room.
Okay, Sigmund.
I feel like I had a Rozemyne, like a real true Rozemyne moment during the last part of this PrePub, because I didn't understand. I was like, with Rozemyne, I didn't understand why everybody else was like shocked, or they were like looking at Ferdinand and Rozemyne saying, you know, like with big grins or laughing and I'm like, why is this happening? And then so I had to read it. I had to read it like 3 or 4 times until I realized, oh, that's what it seems like, because he raised his sleeve. It seems like, yeah. So I felt really stupid, and I'm like, I had a Rozemyne moment.
It's okay. Symbolisms. See, I can't fault Rozemyne either with like not knowing her symbolism, because I suck at that stuff. Like my eyes glaze over when somebody.
Can I get
Yeah.
Can I get an explanation?
Can someone explain? I didn't understand it at all. I was actually going to ask about it because I was.
So the explanation to the Ferdinand's vow,
sleeve being raised,
or the sleeve being raised.
The sleeve.
Yeah, the sleeve being raised. I think it's just a direct like. When the romance stories from the Academy, they always talk about like, ooh, like if you guys remember the Muriela talking to her bestie, saying like, oh my gosh, the Lord of Darkness covering with the cape, and oh my gosh, if that ever happened to me, I would run away in embarrassment. So kind of like that, when the Lord of Darkness, in this case the groom, Ferdinand, would cover like his intended or his beloved, either with a cape or his long sleeve, it would basically mean like they would be kissing, or you know, doing something like very private like that. So everybody interpreted it as a kiss. Like he kissed her, and yeah. Patrick?
I took it as the kind of teasing line that we always heard in elementary school. So and so and so and so sitting in a tree. KISSING.
Except that here this is a country that is full of people who think that KISSING is the same thing. It's almost in the same level as SEGGS. So I don't know, you guys. I think we underestimate the shock that happened when she after that happened, when she looked at the people. The only person that was really like happy and waving her glow stick of a stab was Elvira, and then people were like, oh okay. Even Hartmut was kind of like taken aback.
Not just that. My favorite part of that. What? One of my favorite parts.
Bonnie.
Eustace was laughing his ass off. And of course, Bonifacius.
Yes, there's Bonifacius. Honestly, I'm like, Bonifacius, just sit down. Come on, you're not 5 years old. Come on, dude. But again, I don't have a granddaughter. So I guess I'm not going to be protective. Okay. So
I will. Sorry.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Cerseus.
I will say that I think that scream that Rozemyne probably heard was probably from her head attendant, who is kind of responsible for making sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You know, kissing in public. So that's my fan theory.
Yeah, maybe it could be that. There could be a whole bunch of people who were just like shocked in various degrees. So we'll see. It could be anybody.
It's just a theory.
It's just a fan theory. Those are the best theories.
Of course, the only person excited about the kissing is Elvira, who's most known for writing the erotic novels.
Yeah.
So Tracy Smith says, shame on everybody for thinking they was doing something naughty. She was just trying to teach everybody. She was just trying to teach everybody, saying she was crying. And then Elvira was happy because she was going to get to write another book about the relationship. Yeah. So, again, everybody now thinks that they are violently in love and that they better not mess with Rozemyne, and that they are just, oh my goodness, they need to get married as soon as possible because these two are just being absolutely shameless in public.
Oh, ooh.
Just as intended.
By the way, is Eglantine still there?
No, she just left.
She left.
Yeah.
Local event.
Yeah, all they needed was for her to sign their approval, and then she just left. But you know, I'm just gonna read the actual quote here because I thought I actually teared up a little. So I'm reading. I will protect Alexandria and you with it. That's promise echoed in my mind. Ferdinand never made vows he couldn't keep, so this declaration was all the more unfair. The comfort of knowing that he would always be by my side was almost overwhelmed as my heart raced, my hands trembled, and my throat started to ache. My cheeks flushed and tears welled up in my cheeks. And right after that, of course, Ferdinand had to cover up so that nobody would see his, his precious and beloved crying in such a state. And yeah, this emotional exchange reminds us of how she reacted when she first received the hair stick from Ferdinand in her noble baptism, which her family had made for her back in part 3. It's just makes us like squee at another instance of things going full circle, and just love how this book is just tying up loose ends so beautifully. Not a single thing in the past has been wasted because it's all just payoff in this novel. Oh my goodness, you guys.
I do have to ask the ladies in our chat right now. How many times did you surprise the people around you by squeeing at this romantic exchange?
Yes.
Yes, that is the correct answer. Yes. I don't know how. I don't know. I was reading by myself, so I can't. There were no witnesses to witness my meltdown, but.
Debauchery.
I was gonna say, I know that Magpie, at the very least, if she was reading around people, she would have been definitely surprising people.
Leave me alone.
Especially with your furious blushing and ear-to-ear grin.
Leave me alone.
More than Ferdinand.
Never. I will tease you all I want.
Yeah. So, yes, the answer is yes. I think there was some like and some leg kicking and stuff like that. So I don't know. You got anybody else want to share their experience reading this part?
Oh, I definitely had those reactions.
As you should. Any proper person with feelings will. So
feelings are those. I don't have those.
Speak for yourself, darling. All right, so you guys, we have come to the end of this PrePub discussion. I have had such a blast, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. We're getting closer and closer to the end of this novel, so I hope that you continue to join us. If it's too late for you or the hour doesn't work out because you're in a different time zone, I hope that you're enjoying the replays. And if you want to take part in these discussions, there's still a few discussions left, so you can join me over on my Discord server. To do so, you can become a member on my Ko-fi, and you can have access to a community of people who are what can I say, they're pretty cool people. I don't know, I think they're cool, but I don't know. That might just be me just picking favorites, but I'm
definitely not cool. I'm a jerk.
Yeah, he's a menace. We have to silence him now and then. But yeah, we're so happy that we got some new people here today, and happy to see Alvaro joined us. Thank you, Alvaro, for staying up super late just to hang out here. Cercius, it's been a while since we saw you, so happy to see you here. And Noemi as well.
Great to be back.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm happy to be back.
Remember to join us next time, and Put in the comments your favorite part. I know it's the engagement ceremony, but any other part that you enjoyed. And I look forward to reading your comments as ever. Am I forgetting anything else, you guys, before we end this live? No?
I think we're good.
Okay. Remember that the light novel part 5, volume 11, I believe is going to be released on July 9th. But until,
10?
yeah.
Is it 10 or?
I think it's you know what? It might be the 10th. It depends because...
You forgot to plug, Magpie.
The plug? I did do the plug already.
The plug, yeah.
Yes, join the
Like and
coffee.
subscribe, buy her merch.
Yes,
Yeah.
that too.
There you go.
Coffee.
Yes, join us. Also, for those of you who are Americans, hope you guys have a safe and happy 4th of July, and we will see you on the next one.
Had a nice
Yes.
1st of July.
Oh yes, we can't forget to shout out the Canadians. Hope you had a nice and safe Canada Day as well. All right, everybody.
Ooh, Canada.
Okay, I'm gonna stop here. Remember,
You deserve cookies.
Discord rules, no political schisms.
Oh, no,
All right,
I just
everybody.
like
All right, darlings. I'll see you next time.
I just have one thing to say about like the third chapter of this pre-pub.
Oh, okay, one. There was the soundboard.
Ooh,
Okay,
bad.
you
Ooh,
feel
bad,
you
bad.
feel better now. You feel better now.
Yes.
All right. I'm glad you feel better now. Let's go, everybody. Let's continue on the chat on Discord. But for now, I'm gonna end this live stream. Thank you guys for joining me. I look forward to the next one next Tuesday. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.
See you, chat. This was awesome.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, chat.